All right, guys, welcome to our first team call. Yay! I'm so excited. It's September 24th, and I'm just so happy you guys are all here. Let me just say that to start with. And we're going to start, I'm going to try to remember every time we do one of these. I'm going to do it monthly instead of weekly. Obviously, I know we have so many calls that we have to hop onto, but I just thought it'd be nice for us to get on here and, have it be just our team and talk about, I think it's just better that way, just to get specific goals down or specific questions or whatever it may be. So I'm going to start with recognition since I want to do that every time. I'm going to share my screen. And I also wanted to show you guys a few things too. Hold on. I wasn't prepared. Thought I was. That's not right. Here it is. Woohoo! Okay, so we have recognition, and this is our leaderboard. It looks pretty awesome already. I didn't write the amount of lives we changed because I forgot to do that. But so Ashley Huckabee is actually one of my new coaches that she hasn't actually started yet, but she was already telling a friend about it and they wanted to sign up. So she's already on the leaderboard and she hasn't even done any coach training yet. So Ashley Huckabee with 2 points, with 2 Success Club points. Anthony Redding with 2 Success Club points. That's Tazy's Controlled Business Center. Lauren Woolley with 2 Success Club points. Hillary Hernan with 4. Stacy Jordan with 4. Cassie Salvaggi with 6, and that is her first time hitting Success Club, which is super awesome. She's going to get a hat in the mail. And then I can't say Anastasia because I just only call her Tazy. So Tazy Redding, 12 points, and myself with 20. I'm so proud of you guys. Just because you're not on this board yet does not mean you can't be on this board. You can absolutely do what you need to do. I know Hillary, she's not on this call yet, or I don't know, actually she's in a different time zone than us, so she might not be. But she has one more Success Club point until she is a success starter. That means that she will be able to get her, wow, I'm blanking. Her, why can't I think? What's it called? Wow, okay. Never mind, I was gonna, whatever. What the? I don't know what I'm trying to say right now. I'm just gonna. What?
You're talking about Summit?
Yes, I don't know why I couldn't think of the word Summit. She gets her Summit ticket completely paid for if she gets one more Success Club point. So the point of earning Success Club, if you're not too familiar with it, it really is a way, it's just a reward system. And as you start to build your business and you get things higher, like for example, it's how they invite you to the Success Club trips. So for example, this year, everybody that got a certain amount of points, they were invited to Mexico, and they got an all-inclusive resort and had a blast, and they all got most of their stuff paid for just by Success Club points. This year coming up is a cruise. Every Success Club point is, I don't know, I think it's like $10 for every Success Club point or something like that. So you literally can get your entire trip paid for by earning Success Club points, and that's also how you get invites to the trips, all that fun stuff. And then a couple other things I wanted to kind of announce before we get started is don't forget about the National Wake Up Call. It's every Monday at 11. If I remember, I try to share it into our group. They always have super successful coaches on there that are talking about, what has been working for them, kind of like, a regular team call, but just really big. And I just realized my computer's not plugged in. And the National Wake Up Call, you can dial into it. You can watch the playback. It's on the Team Beachbody 411. I think it's Team Beachbody Coach 411 is the Facebook page. So I always try to share it into the group. I shared it into the group today. What else did I want to say? Oh, our next coach sneak peek is going to be October 15th. So you can add people to that group. I keep the videos available for 3 or 4 days, and I go in and delete everything. That way we don't have that way it's kind of a live thing when people are going in the group, but I don't take anybody out of the group. So if you've added coaches to the group and they have decided not to, or potential coaches, and they decided that they did not want to coach, they're still going to see people popping up in their news feed because they're still in that group. So they might catch someone's story that inspires them. You never know. So that's going to be October 15th. And Super Saturday or Sunday, it's Sunday here in Miami. It's, I think, the closest one in South Florida. Go into your coach office and go to events and go to Super Saturday, and you can find the closest one to you. What they do is they make announcements there. They give awesome training there. They let you hear awesome success stories, and then you always do a live workout. So, for example, the last one was in Orlando. I know Tazy went to it. I was supposed to go, but Madison, of course, was sick, so I didn't go. Autumn did the workout there, which is pretty awesome. So you buy your ticket and you can go to whichever one is closest to you. The one in Miami is, what day is it on? It's on October 21st. It's Super Sunday, and Joel Freeman's going to be there in Miami, which is the Lift 4 creator, which I think is pretty cool. The Diamond Retreat for Team Boom is actually that same weekend. So they ordered because you can kind of host your own Super Saturday, they ordered that. So if you wound up qualifying for the Team Boom retreat, then they're going to do it there. What else? Lift 4 becomes available to everybody October 1st, so tell your challengers if they didn't order it ahead of time. And then the Shift Shop 2, all those challenge packs become available on October 1st as well. And I think that's it. Oh, one thing I did want to show you guys really, really quick is not that. Okay, so if you come into your coach office, you'll see, you can go to news here, and you'll have coach breaking news here. So that'll tell you anything that you need to know about what's going on. Information about the National Wake Up Call, that's where you can find the replay if you want. And it's also going to give you all the promotions that are going on this month. And then if you go to events, that's where you can find the Super Saturday and figure out where the closest event is to you and where you can buy your tickets. And then it'll also tell you about other upcoming events, and then it'll tell you about all the details about Summit, which is next July, I believe. I think it's in July. And that's it. Does anybody have any questions or anything before we get started that they wanted to ask before we run out of time? No? Okay, cool. So what I really wanted to talk about is just kind of the basics of coaching and the basics of what we have to do every single day to be a successful coach. And I figured it's something that we need to hear every single day, and it's something that we need to remind ourselves of. So I feel like it never gets old, and I always need to remind myself of these things too. So there's 4 vital behaviors for being a Beachbody coach, and you'll find this anywhere. You Google the 4 vital behaviors and you will find these very easily. So if you need a reminder, just Google it. Number 1, being proof of the product. And honestly, this is totally number 1 in my opinion, because people are not going to get on this journey with you if you're not actually showing them that it's something that works. So being proof of the product is a 100% number 1. If you aren't posting transformations, if you're not showing them how healthy you are, if you're not talking about the food that you're making, if you're not talking about every single thing that has to do with this program, how amazing your shakes are, what they do for your body. I just had a challenger the other day tell me that she loves the shakes so much because they've been making her skin super soft, and she just feels vibrant with it. And I'm like, that's pretty awesome, because you hear some people say that every once in a while, but when people actually have physical, proof like that, I think it's pretty awesome. Being proof of the product, like I said, is transformations. It's, showing people that you've dropped another pant size. It doesn't have to be, oh, I'm down 20 or 30 pounds, or I'm down 5 pounds, or whatever your number is. That's awesome to share too. but you also want to share the small things like, I have these pair of jeans that I have not fit into since high school and now they fit. Or, you know, I finally can wear a bikini without being self-conscious. All of those things are being proof of the product, even though you're not physically showing them. Talking about it is just as important. And, you know, make sure you're not even just posting about it, but talking in your stories. And if you're talking in your stories, make sure you're posting about it too. So it's vice versa, because you're only going to have a certain amount of people watching your stories, and you're going to have a certain amount of people seeing your posts, because all this Facebook and Instagram, there's algorithms for everything. So if you have 1,000 followers and you think all 1,000 people are seeing your stuff, they're not at all. So the people that you're connecting with, those people are the ones that are seeing your stuff. The people you're not connecting with, they're probably not seeing it. So think about that too. Think about when you go on your Instagram, who you see come up first. It's going to be the people who you're liking. It's probably going to be most of us on here, because we all support each other and we all give each other love on our posts. So I can guarantee you, when you log into your Instagram or your Facebook, your first 5 posts are going to probably be Beachbody coaches or like your mom or something. So remember that. Inviting is obviously right up there with, honestly, I think like inviting and being proof of the product might be like one and the same, but it's number 2, and it's the only way to build your business. So inviting, I know, is so scary, and I know that inviting is something that all of you guys, including myself, probably get a little freaked out by. And when I first decided to become a coach, when I realized that I had to like reach out to people and invite them, I was like, I ain't doing that. I'm not doing that. And then after a while, when I realized that this business really could work, and I realized that I was running out of people coming to me, I was like, all right, let me try this inviting thing. But I've never cold invited. Like, I don't just send random messages to people. I always start a conversation first. And it also, I mean, it depends. Like, sometimes people will respond to me or like they'll like a post or something like that. And sometimes like, I'm just like, oh, let me just see. But it's very rare that I do that. So inviting is literally the bread and butter of your business, because the other day, I think some of you might have seen, I posted that I sent out 75 invites in 30 minutes. I was catching up. It's not like I just, had 75 people on that day to invite. But the reason I was able to do that so efficiently in 30 minutes is because I have a system down. So having that system allowed me to have 75 names to choose from. I didn't go looking for those people. I had literally every single one of those people written in my calendar. And it just made it super easy. And when I looked at the time, I was like, oh shit, that only took me 30 minutes. So imagine if you're doing it every single day and you only have to invite 10 people or 5 people or whatever, how easy that is. It does not take long at all. You just have to keep doing it, because the more people you invite, the more people are going to join you. And that's just, simple statistics, honestly. I mean, I've never done well in statistics, but you invite 100 people, maybe 20 people will respond to you, probably not even that many. So if you think that you're inviting 1 million people and only a couple are responding, that's usually how it is. So, and that doesn't mean that those other 80 people won't ever respond to you. They probably will after they see you for a few months and they start to build that trust, because going back to number 1, being that proof of the product, when you're just starting a conversation with somebody and you're just inviting them for the first time, maybe you've only been friends with them for a couple weeks. So they're like, no, I'm not going to respond to this girl, but I'm not even going to bother taking her off my friends list. But then you're going to keep motivating that person, and you're going to keep showing how you literally keep shrinking. Like Cassie, every single day, she's shrinking every single day. And she doesn't know it yet, but in a few months, she's going to just get this insane rush of people. And that's just how it goes. Like, these people are seeing her transform, and it's just going to take some time. Like, they're going to be like, like I said, in a month, when she is down another 20 pounds, they're going to be like, okay, fine. All right, I'm here. Let's go, Cassie. Because she's literally lost 20 pounds since July 31st. That's crazy. She is definitely the example of being proof of the product. So inviting, super important. We don't ever want to skip that. If there's anything you skip, don't let it be inviting, even if it's just one person a day. We had a call Mackenzie hosted a call the other day. She's really, really, really inspiring. So if you don't follow her, you should. She's at Mackenzie Chase, and there's no E at the end of Mackenzie. But she did a call for for Team Destin the other day, and it was really, really good. And she had some advice that if, you get anxiety over inviting 20 people a day or inviting 30 people a day, make it a weekly goal. So set a weekly goal. 100 people can be your weekly goal, or 50 people can be your weekly goal. Whatever you want to start out with, just do it. That way, you don't have to put this pressure on yourself that you have to do 20 people a day or you have to do this many people. If you have a busy day, the next day you just double up, or, that way you can keep track of it and you can say, okay, I'm almost at my weekly goal of 100 or whatever your weekly goal may be. So if that's something that's more attainable for you, do it that way. I thought that was great advice because I always feel like I look at it on a daily and it definitely needs to be something more than that. Or there needs to be other options because sometimes it can give you a little bit of anxiety, which you don't want. And then the other thing with inviting is just make sure you have your system down. Like I said earlier, the system is what is going to make or break how easy this is for you. So if you don't have any kind of way to track your people or any kind of way to just revert back to something and say, oh, look, I invited 20 people on this day. Let me go back through this list and see if they responded and I missed it. Or maybe we started a conversation and I put my phone down accidentally and, they might have slipped through the cracks, which literally just happened to me because I missed so many people when I just did those invites the other night. I missed so many people that I had sent Hey Girl messages to. I must have sent a bunch one night or one day and I was in my car or something and I never wrote them down. I was supposed to. And I went back all the way back down. And I found all these people. And then I found a girl who was so interested in my group and she had sent something to me. I never responded back to her. And I was like, oh my God. And it was like 2 months ago. So I sent her a message, obviously, but even having a system, obviously people can still fall through the cracks, but that will happen way more if you don't have your system down. So just make sure that you figure something out. And if you go on our team page, I actually have a video already on how I do my system, which has been working really, really well for me. Starting those conversations with your new followers is the way to go. Like, that's where I get all my names from. So when people start to follow you back on Instagram or Facebook or accept your friend request, just make sure you're sending them a message and then just make sure you're inviting them in whatever time frame you decide. For me, it's 2 weeks. And I can't tell you how many times, probably 9 out of 10 times, when I invite somebody after sending them a Hey Girl message and they didn't respond to my Hey Girl, they'll respond to my invite because they've been watching me for 2 weeks now. And I show up every single day on my social media, even if it's just one time a day. Because I'm honestly not a big poster. Like some coaches post like 3-4 times a day. I talk my stories all day long and I share my life there, but I maybe post once or twice. I'm really not somebody that posts 4 or 5 times a day. It's just how I am. It's been working for me. So I feel like I'd rather have 1 or 2 really good posts that have a lot of value behind them versus trying to scatterbrain 4 or 5 posts and like just wind up throwing shit out there because I don't know what else to say. And the third vital behavior is recognition. First of all, does anybody have questions about inviting that they want to ask really quick? You can just unmute yourself or you can put it in the chat. Nope. Okay. And just feel free to unmute yourself at any time if you have any question. Okay, so recognition. Recognition is the third vital behavior, and it's really simple. It's just recognizing, and it could be recognizing coaches in your downline, or it could be recognizing challengers. And recognizing challengers is so important, and that kind of stems into more of a different thing that I'm going to try to touch on really quick. But when you recognize people, it gives them more motivation. So just like we do the leaderboards and everything like that, when you see your name up there and you know that you could give yourself more and you have somebody that, maybe start at the same time as you, or, they post as much as you do and they do everything that you do, and they're having way more Success Club points, you're like, okay, that's when you self-reflect and you're like, okay, what am I doing wrong? And or what can I do different? Not necessarily what you could do that person's doing, but what could you do different? Because if you're doing the same thing as everybody else and it's not showing up on the board, there's a reason why. You just got to figure it out. And it could be your social media. It could be the way that you're talking to people. It could be your posts. You never know. So you always want to self-reflect. And when you recognize people, that really does just give them that motivation to, really push through. For me, I'm not like I didn't do that love language quiz. I know it exists, but I haven't done that before. And I think like recognition is something on there. But for me, that's not like a big thing for me. For me, it's more of like maybe like affirmations, I guess, like saying like, oh, you did, like someone like personally telling me, I don't know, maybe that's the same thing actually. I don't know what I'm talking about. So recognition, whatever. Move on to personal development. That's number 4. Personal development is so important. And it's something that I really did slack on in the beginning. And I still probably could be doing more of. I do something every single day, but sometimes it's not very consistent. So it's like, it'll be like a page or 2 out of the book that I'm reading right now, or it'll be, a podcast. I like to watch the Rachel Hollis podcast. She's the one that wrote Girl Wash Your Face. That was just a really good book to get into. And like the audio books obviously are something that I do a lot. I need a new book to read actually. I'm going to look that up soon. But anybody feeling like anything from those 4 things that they want to talk about? No? Okay. So the other thing I want to talk about is, feeling like you're in a slump or kind of feeling like you can't do it, or feeling like this isn't for you, or you might want to quit, or you might want to give up, or so on, whatever. You're not, just blowing up right out of the gate. And I get it. Like if you're feeling that way, it's so normal, because I have felt that way a million times. Let me just tell you, there's so many times where I was like, okay, I think I'm just going to quit, because I was putting too much pressure on myself. And I was saying like, oh, I just hate that I have to post this every single day, or I hate that I have to. But when I took the pressure off of myself, I realized that, oh, there's literally nobody that I have to do this for except for myself. So why do I have pressure on myself right now? I want to still show up every single day on social media and make sure people are following my journey and making sure I'm inspiring people. But I don't have to put pressure on myself to do that. I don't have to sit there and like worry about what people are going to think or anything like that. So feeling like you want to quit is super normal. The one thing I want you to do is not to quit, because once you get out of that slump, you're going to go up, and then you're going to feel how it feels to start to, bring a good amount of money in with this business. And then you're going to start to build a team after that. And then you're going to start to have people under you that are going to look up to you for advice, and you're their inspiration. And so you realize, oh, I can't quit because I have this person, and I don't want them to, think that they can't do it because I felt like I couldn't do it. And no one has to be a millionaire from this business, obviously. I mean, that would be nice, but you could go on your merry little life, still doing what you do every single day, and you could get some extra grocery money every month. You could always do this. You're only helping people, so what's the big deal? If you're having, if you're running your own challenge groups or anything like that, and you feel like you want help with it, like 2 people can team up together and do challenge groups. I know a couple of the girls on this call aren't really on my team. They're on Tazy's team, or under Tazy's their coach. But me and most of my coaches, actually all of my coaches except for Tazy, we all run a group together. And I don't put the pressure on my coaches to think that they have to leave or anything like that. I always encourage them to, hey, if you guys want to do it, go, just let me know if you're going to coach in this group or not. But we have honestly, probably 8 coaches, and we've been working it out perfectly fine. And we all kind of just split up the weeks, and it's good. And then that way we all do less work too, and it makes it a little bit easier. So instead of me having to worry about every single post for every single day, I only have to worry about half the posts for 1 week. I do our prep week, and then everybody else kind of splits the week. So it works out nicely anyway. So don't think that you can't team up either. So that's always a possibility. This job can be this business can be as much or as less, as much or as much or as not as much as you want it to be. I don't know. I think that's really it on that too. And then the other thing I wanted to just touch on really quick is social media, because it is so important and it is something that we really need to focus on, because our social media is our storefront. This is where people are going to follow or not follow you. So when you log on to your Instagram, or you log on, really Instagram, honestly, because that's the only thing you're going to log on to and see your stuff. So when you log onto your Instagram and you look at it, completely take yourself out of the picture and ask yourself, would I follow me? Are you posting a transformation every few rows? Because if somebody sees that you follow them and they look and you just kind of look like an average person not offering me anything, they're probably not going to follow you back. They're going to be like, oh, sure, you can follow me, but I'm not going to follow you back, because you don't have a transformation in those first 3 lines. And you don't have some kind of other post that's kind of screaming at them to follow you. You have to put something out there that's going to catch people's eye. And you always have to remember that you might have done that 6 or 7 rows down in your Instagram, but people probably aren't scrolling all the way down. They're probably just giving you one good scroll, which is probably like the first 4 or 5 lines. And if they don't see anything they like in those first 4 or 5 lines, they're not going to follow you. And they're going to just be like, okay, whatever. And then think about the type of post that you're posting and the type of market you want to attract. So if you're not posting about being a working, say you're a working mom, okay? If you're not posting about being a working mom, you're not going to attract working moms. If you're not talking about how you wake up early before your workouts, you wake up at 5 a.m. to do your workouts, right? And you're freaking tired as shit, but you still do it because you've been seeing how amazing your results are. Oh, okay. Sorry, my computer just giving me but you're seeing how amazing your results are, but you're not talking about that. And you're not talking about how when you wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning, that when it's 5 o'clock at night and you're coming home from work, you still have so much energy because you've been fueling your body so right, and you've been working out in the morning, and you've been giving yourself all that extra endorphins and extra everything that when you actually get off of work, you have more energy than you did when you would wake up 2 hours later, jump in the shower really quick, rush to work, grab a super sugary coffee, and then crash a couple hours later, and then, stuff yourself at lunch and then crash a couple hours later. You got to talk about these things because somebody is feeling that way. Somebody is rushing to work every single morning, stopping at Starbucks every single morning, feeling like shit all day, sitting at a desk, feeling like they have no energy at all. And maybe they've known you for 5 years, and now you can inspire them to now do what you're doing. So if you don't let people know what you're doing, they're not going to know that you're a coach, and they're not going to know that you have something to offer them. So make sure that you are posting for your market, and make sure that, what you're posting has value. Something that you can do that I do a lot is when you go into Instagram, and let me see, I just want to make sure I tell you right. If you go into Instagram and you go to like the little add a picture thing, you'll see that like right here, there's drafts. So I either pick like a picture, or even I'll put like a random picture in there or something like that, or you can even save it into your notes, whatever. But if you think of a good post, then write it down in that moment, because you'll probably forget about it like a couple days later. And you might just be sitting there thinking of something like earlier. I don't know if you guys saw what I posted earlier, but I talked about how I used to not be a mom, and how I used to be somebody that served and drank all night and, ate fast food all the time. And I was a broke college student and all the stuff, because I want to let other people know that maybe I do have girls that are 10 years younger than me that are following me, and I have girls that are my challengers that are 10 years younger than me. And I want to let them know that I know what they're going through now. I already went through it. And just because I'm a mom now doesn't mean that I can't relate to that same person I was 10 years ago. Because I have so many girls telling me like, you know, oh, I'm in college, I don't have a lot of money or whatever. And I remember, but I also wish that I knew about how amazing I could feel now if I would have done all this shit then. Like how amazing that would be. God, that's crazy. You know, like if you really think about it, like if you knew how amazing you would have felt 10 years ago, like don't you wish you would have done this 10 years ago? It's crazy. So you want to be that person for those people. You want to change that life earlier than later. And it does not matter how old somebody is. We have challengers in my group that are in their 60s. We even have one that's in her 70s. And we have challengers that are right out of high school. We have challengers that are, you know, my age, 30-ish, and in their 20s, whatever. We have this whole group. So literally, it does not have to be this specific age that you're looking for either. Talk to every single person. And then, like I said, just make sure you're self-reflecting, and when you post something, make sure that you know, just make sure that it's something of value, and make sure that you're offering something to people, and make sure that somebody would want to follow you back, because that's the most important thing. You're changing lives here, and that's just pretty much it. So you want to make sure that you're setting that up so that somebody knows that they can change your life, and they can kind of look through your Instagram really quick and they can see, oh, this person is actually really inspiring. Let me follow them. If you're doing the same poses, if you're not using like a constant filter, don't post like random, you can post like random quotes and things like that, but pictures are what catches the eye. Pictures are what people stop on. So think about when you're scrolling through your news feed, and what do you stop on? What do you not stop on? Think about what you do and do not stop on. If you don't stop on pictures of quotes or like something random like that, don't post those, because those people that are in your tribe probably don't stop on those either. And they're definitely not going to take the time to read 500 paragraphs. So make it short, sweet, and to the point, like one paragraph that they can kind of paraphrase, because I know that I definitely don't sit there and read everybody's posts word for word, one after the other. So make sure that when they're passing through your picture, like your first line, maybe grab some, you know, you want to make sure they can see that, and that you want to make sure that, you know, you don't have the value deep down in your third paragraph because they didn't read that far, you know, if that makes sense. I feel like I talked all over the place because it's my first call, so I'm trying, but I hope I offered something to you guys. And does anybody have any questions? Unmute yourself and chat. Oh, thanks, Cass. All right, awesome. Well, nobody has any questions. Does anybody have, anybody want to share their system and what they've been doing so far, or anybody want to share, you know, any struggles they've been having with coaching, anything like that? Just unmute yourself. Oh, Lauren, were you trying to talk? Here, I unmute.
Hey. Okay, so for me, my biggest issue is consistency, and time management, and organization. So I haven't really tried your system, although I've watched your videos and taken notes on your system, but I haven't put it into play. So any tips on, because obviously we both have young kids, and then I don't have as much help. Well, not that you have help really either, but, you know, just trying to, I guess just trying to fit the time in, you know, like, I guess, like, how do you still get everything done with Madison being so crazy, I guess is my question.
Well, you know, obviously we were talking about it earlier because Lauren was actually at my house earlier. And she actually hasn't been sleeping but this week. So it's been a little harder for me, but I had gotten her on a system finally starting at 7:30. She would go to sleep and then I'd have the rest of the night. So that's when I would just crunch. And right now, like, I'm just sacrificing any extra time I have because I know this business is building and I know I can make it build. So I'm crunching all the time now so that in 5 years I have freedom. because I guarantee you in 5 years, I'm going to have a shit ton of financial freedom. Probably less than that, honestly, like the way that everything's been growing and I've just been consistent. So you have to figure out, it took me so long. I started a year ago coaching. October was my first challenge group ever. And it probably was March, honestly, when I was like, okay, I need a system. Like that's how long it took. So go by my advice and just don't do what I did. Figure out a system now, and you are going to see how it actually saves time in the long run. When you do more things like consistently every single day, that actually winds up saving you time, because then you're not trying to have all these, hours where you're trying to catch up on things. But what I do, to answer your question, what I do is at night, so power hours are awesome. Now that I can, and I know you Android users can't use Captivate, but Captivate saves me so much time because I don't have to follow people anymore. It does it for me at night. So I send out Hey Girl messages, and then I send out my invites. And then I honestly don't usually have conversations with people at night. And if I do, it's like somebody that's super interested or something like that. But I spend most of my nights like inviting. And then throughout the day, when I have little pockets of time, is when I respond to people and is when I just like engage in conversation more. So a lot of times when Madison first wakes up, she's sitting in her high chair and she's eating her breakfast, and I'm, eating my toast or whatever right next to her, but I'm responding to people while I'm doing it. And there she's contained for 20 minutes, and I just responded to like 12 people and, got our conversation, going again. So you just have to figure out when that pocket of time works for you. And I can guarantee you that you spend a crap ton of time on your phone doing nothing. Not you, but like we all do it.
Yeah. No, I definitely do it probably.
And instead of being on Facebook just scrolling through nothing, you could be doing work. Instead of like, if you're having like mindless conversations with people and things like that, just be like, I can talk to this person later, because right now I need to focus on inviting more people. And if you have that system down where you're sending your Hey Girl messages out and you're connecting with people, you can just go into your little notebook and you'll have 10 names just to boom, 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 invite really quick. And then that next morning, you can have a conversation with those people. And like you work at night, so, that's when you can do a lot of your inviting. Like, who cares if you send someone an invite at 4:00 in the morning? They're sleeping. They didn't do it. Does that help?
Yeah, thank you.
And then just get your system down and just, the thing is that, me and Lauren were actually talking the other day, and, I said, if you feel like you're not doing what you're supposed to do, it's because your why is not strong enough. So you have to revert back to why you started coaching. And for you, you
find out to reevaluate it.
Oh, really? That's awesome.
Yeah, because I had it written in that frame that you got me. I had stuck it on there. But I pulled it out tonight to like look at it and kind of like reevaluate my why.
Do you want to share it or no?
What, my why?
Yeah.
I mean, this is the old one.
Oh, okay.
Not that it's old, but like some of these things are, like for me, it's moving out of mom's. Like, so I live with my mom, if you guys don't know. I just went through a divorce. So I'm living at home with my mom, and I'm ready to be out on my own. So that's my biggest why right now. And then also to pay off debt, because I have a lot of just random debt from, I used to have a business, so I have a credit card, a huge credit card payment, and then just other, debt. And then to be able to leave my full-time job eventually, I want to be able to go per diem. I probably still want to work as a nurse, but I don't want to have to do it full-time. I only want to have to do it maybe like, once a week or something. And then also to, obviously to give Riley, my daughter, an amazing life, and, to be able to give her the things that not only that she needs, but, to also take her to, travel and just have that freedom to basically do what we want. And then also for me too is being able to give back and bless other people as well, because I know throughout my life a lot of people have helped me. So that's pretty much it.
That's awesome. So you need to just remember that, put it somewhere where you can see. And some of us might be a little bit more casual with the business right now, and that's totally fine. Like you can go as fast as you want to go, but just understand that if you do all the things you're supposed to do, you will create that freedom for yourself. It might take some people a little bit longer, just because sometimes people get it right away and sometimes people don't. I'm one of those people that didn't get it right away. So I wasted about 8 months of hardcore time that I was not being consistent in, that I probably would be a few steps further now if I didn't waste that time. So all we can do is look back at things and be like, oh, I wish I would have done that. I wish I would have known this. I wish I would have known that. But all you can do is what's now and what's in your future. So you can just make sure from now on you stay consistent, and that's it. And it's like I said, once you finish that system and that's out, it's so easy. Like it's literally no time at all.
Yeah, no, I think that's for me personally. My struggle is just trying to figure out a system that works for me. So I will have to keep trying different stuff, Yeah. Thanks.
You're welcome. Cassie, you said, how do you reach out to full-time working moms? Were you just like commenting on that, or are you really asking that question? Here, I'll unmute you up.
No, so I'm definitely asking that question because I have a few moms who work full-time. Like I have a full-time job, so I'm with a lot of moms who work full-time, and like obviously my friend Brittany killing it in the morning, she's doing that. But for other people who are like, no, like I'm too busy with my kid right now, and they're having trouble finding the time because they also work.
Right. So you don't have to, like I said, you don't have to relate to somebody on a specific level of like, say they're a mom and they're working and you're working full time. You don't necessarily have to have a kid to relate to that person, because you still are a busy person, and you still have changed your life in a way to where you have so much more energy now because you've been working out, you've been feeling your body right, and you have your Energize and all these things. So you really just have to let them know that it's possible. And the other thing that you can do is you can always put them in a group message with other moms on our team that are busy and are working full time, and they're doing it, and they can relate to them a little bit better maybe. But as long as you're just letting them know that when they actually fuel their body right and they actually work out and they treat everything right that they're supposed to be treating right, they're going to actually have way more energy to take on their day, to take on their kids. Because I'm sure, I'm not a working mom, so I'm sure after coming home from a long day at work and having to go right into mom duties and bath time and feed bath time and all that stuff, I'm sure that's really stressful. Just like other things are stressful for stay-at-home moms that are with their kids literally all day and they don't get a break. It's all different. So no matter what, everybody's busy. You don't have to be a mom to be busy. Obviously you have other humans to take care of, so it makes it a little harder, and they really don't care what your plans are. They'll just ruin them. But just because someone's a mom doesn't make them more busy than somebody that's not a mom. In my opinion, honestly, like it's true. There's always people that are busier than you, no matter what. So there's always people doing more things, Yeah. Anybody else have any questions or anything? No? All right. Well, I will let you all go. Thank you so much for hopping on. Like I said, I was really, really scared that I was going to talk to myself this whole time. And thanks for sharing. And I will let you guys know when our next call will be. If 9 o'clock is a good time, give me a thumbs up if that's a good time for you, or if you want to vote on a different time. Okay, cool. So far, everybody. The only, like probably could go 9:30, a little bit later. I know most everybody does work and have to be up in the morning. So I figured 9 was a good time because half of us are moms, half of us aren't. So it's like that kind of easier timing. But you all have a wonderful night, and I will see y'all later. Bye.